Last time on Dainty Tail and the Mighty Paw.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning!
Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards?
The cards?
Mr. Payne,
Yes?
the players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the courtroom.
Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's?
Why not both?
I was gonna say, yeah, look at both.
Now, which of these hands is more suspicious?
Well,
I want to see the victims.
Yeah, initially you'd think the victims, but then part of me is like, well, that might be like the red herring or something. That maybe it's actually the defendant's hand.
Is there anything we can see that kind of alludes to some fuckery?
I don't know. Can you save?
I think so. Yeah.
Alright, now pick the victim's hand.
It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. Oh, okay, that's smart. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards.
Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Shit, I wonder if we fucked up.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
well, time's a wasting. Get to it, Justice.
Yeah, I will. Okay.
Can you flip them over?
I'm going to.
Ah.
Ah!
Ah!
Oh, I can't do anything with that.
Okay.
Yes, sir! Oh. Oh,
When
come
examining evidence. Oh, I see.
on. Ah.
Tutorial.
Let's do this!
That's impossible! But I put that card in Mr. Wright's hand!
Oh, no.
What was that, Miss Orly? No, yet. I merely said, I have ink. Your Honor,
Mr. Gavin, yes?
tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One really needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer.
Wait, so you mean... this witness, Miss Orly...
She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager.
Yuck!
She really should stop dropping her borscht.
Order! Order!
Focus, Justice! Time to take advantage of her, of her mistake! Wow.
Oof.
Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. So it's impossible, but I put the card in Wright's hand. Yet. Ergo, Miss Olga Orly conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith.
Oh!
Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
Wah!
Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orly, are you?
Time for justice! Swing! There were I put my fingers in front of my head, like, never mind.
Victory.
There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means...
I am...
oh, fuck. I am! The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orly, of murder! Oh, shit, is it gonna hit her? Aww.
Hey, there's a lobster in that.
That looked like a crab.
Was it a crab? I don't know.
Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orly?
It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice?
Your Honor!
It seems you've presented a new possibility to the court, one suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith.
And that means...
This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
I did it! I held out!
I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
That sounded like him. Oh. Mr. Wright?
You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night.
As I said before, we altered between 2 decks of cards that night.
Yep.
That was said before.
The 2 decks at the club had different colored backs. Blue and red. 1 color per deck.
Why use different colored backs?
If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed.
You used different colors and they still got mixed up.
We used the red deck for the last game.
I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating.
Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo,
Yes?
let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped?
When?
There are 3 broad possibilities here. It would have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
It was a kerfuffle, so I actually think that it was after the murder. Somebody tampered with the crime scene.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped.
Oh. It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped?
When was the card swapped into the deck?
So
We're gonna
you
save.
think it's... Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it was after.
After? Okay. I kind of
Wait, and I think you might be right about something right here, unless it's like a patented thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm tempted to say before the murder.
At the time of, but why?
I don't know. Just
Like, we gotta have something that backs up the claim. So I'm just like
Yeah.
confused.
I guess, yeah, yeah, I guess go for after the murder then, so it was tampering with evidence.
Perhaps it happened after the murder.
What's that? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly.
Okay, so
Yes, sorry. Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. That was kind of what I was thinking.
quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over?
Shifting blame.
Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
That there's another?
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card?
Who?
The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orly.
Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? Oh, I hate it when they do this.
Like, yeah, 'cause it makes you think unless there was another person in there. But who else would
I want to take the gamble, but I wonder.
I guess it would have to have been Olga. But why? Why would she want to kill the victim? I'm tempted to go with someone else as well.
The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orly either.
What are you suggesting?
Uh-oh, that's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orly at this point.
Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color.
And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies,
My
Your
apologies.
Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is.
Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Miss Orly, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it?
Precisely.
Huh?
I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction.
A new direction?
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card.
Right. The person replaced the fifth ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't
I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True. Not until now. but you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. I think it's doing that deep voice, it just like makes me yawn. I believe the jugs the jugs spoke truthfully earlier.
The jugs don't lie.
They don't lie.
Bailiff, smack his jugs.
You make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
This trial is proceeded on one central assumption. Namely that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room.
I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption.
The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court.
I suppose that is a problem, yes.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess.
Oh, certainly, Your Honor.
Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes.
Oh, they have a relationship, Mr. Gavin and the judge.
420.
Blaze it.